It's my honour to be here to talk to you today. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you about art, artificial intelligence and academic advancement. My talk is split into three parts. Firstly, I'm going to introduce the University for the Creative Arts. I'm going to do this because I think that it's my university, it's the university I work for. I am very proud to work at this university, and I will show you some work by our students that I'm very proud of, and I will show you some testimonials from our students talking about how good their learning experience is. So I'll begin with that, and then I will talk a little bit about my own artwork as a painter and my own journey into being an artist and a professor. And then I will talk some more about some ideas and around AI and AI technology, and really about creativity and integrity and how we might work in the future around with AI. So you are all young artists, young entrepreneurs, young business people, all thinking about your future. And the world that you go into will be very different to the world that I went into. The world that I went into was beginning with digital technology and computers, and this was a new world for me and a new world for many of my colleagues. The world that you go into will be one that is where there is a lot of artificial intelligence, and it will change creativity and it will change the way you work. So I will talk a little bit about this, and I want you to think about what your future might look like as a creative, as an entrepreneur, and how you are going to work and collaborate with technology. But first, I'm going to show you some students' work. Okay. Oh look, there's a picture of me. Okay, I'm a professor and a director of the doctoral college at UCA, where we do the PhD study, but I'm also the director of fine art, craft and photography and visual communication. But like many professors at our university, I'm also an artist, and the majority of our teachers, professors, technicians, everybody who works with us at our university is also practicing. So if they teach business, they run business. If they teach photography, they work as photographers. If they are designers, they work as designers. So we believe that it is important that our professors are also working in the field. So this is me being an artist in my studio, wearing my studio clothes. This is all work made by our students. We're completely, absolutely passionate about creative education and how it enables people to realise their ambitions as artists and designers and photographers. The University for the Creative Arts only teaches creative subjects. We teach almost every kind of creative subject you can think of, including business, the creativity in business. We have the UK's first business school for the creative industries. We're based across the southeast of England, and we have our main campuses are at Canterbury and Farnham and Epsom. The white area is the sea, and I live near the sea. But it's easy for us to get to Europe, and it's easy for us to get to London. Our campuses are very beautiful. They are kind of small. We have around 7,500 students studying creative subjects. And I'm going to show you a little bit about each one of our campuses so you can have a feel for what it might be like to be a student with us.
I first came on my open day, and I remember vividly walking into the red studio, and I just got that picture of the tall walls, the lights, and as a painter I kind of knew this was the place that I wanted to go.
So what actually made me think about Canterbury is because it's a university city, and I thought that it would be very lively, and it's actually like this. You go on the main street and there's so many people, and I personally really like that.
It was a good idea to choose living in halls because I became really good friends with everyone I lived with.
On campus, there's a range of facilities including photography, 3D printing, laser cutting. The art shop has really good supplies, and it just never ends really.
A lot of my tutors have a lot of life experience outside university. It's really good for inspiration.
As a student at UCA, I have full access to any type of facilities here.
Everyone's kind of in the same mindset of wanting to create things.
If I haven't got motivation one day, I'll get motivation from a friend or a peer or a tutor. I think I've become a lot more independent, mostly in my art and in myself as well. The course at fine art gives you that space and that freedom.
It's a really exciting place to study.
So Canterbury is our main location for teaching subjects like architecture and interior design, interior decoration and styling, industrial design, product design, visual communication, and our fine art subjects. And we have another campus which is called Farnham, which is where we teach lots of other subjects. Games, film, photography, graphic design, animation, illustration, ceramics, jewellery, glass, more fine art. I'll show you some of that campus.
Studying here immediately felt at home. There were so many people about. It was just amazing. Everyone's kind of on the same wavelength, which is really nice.
What attracted me to studying photography at UCA is, I felt a connection with it on my open day, but also just being in a smaller space, which I found to be really useful as you kind of get that one-to-one contact with tutors and other students, but I just felt like it was a really kind of happy environment and place to be.
Living in halls, you're close to campus, so if you want to go to an event and stay out late, there's no risk of getting home in the dark. If you want to get to class and not have to get up super early, that's always a win as well.
Living in Farnham is beautiful. It's a perfect combination of a creative town and a country town.
There's so many exciting things to do, even in the town itself, that aren't necessarily part of university that can engage your creativity.
Perfect for an arts uni, really. So having the facilities there, you were able to use them whenever you wanted, which not only helped your work, but also it just helped you get more of a feel for what you wanted to do in the future. Having that freedom, it really helped.
The people around you and their creative minds really fuels you to push what you think you can do and exit your comfort zone and really try new things. And it's incredible.
I knew that before I started at university that I enjoyed being an art and it was kind of a passion, but now I feel ready to view myself as an artist and start really making it into my career.
So all of our campuses are close to London. It's very easy to travel into London, but they are they're small. They have that kind of safe, warm feeling of being in a community, and that's really important to us. Our other campus at Epsom, which is our closest to London, is where we teach business and fashion. And our business courses are really popular because we have around 1,500 students studying business for the creative industries. And this is really popular, particularly at postgraduate. So maybe you do an undergraduate degree in a creative subject and then move into a postgraduate degree in a business subject. So that you may do fashion and then move to luxury brand management. Or you may do a subject like design and then move to experience and service design, or a global masters in business management. We also teach our fashion courses there. Okay, I'm going to give you our university is an international university, and around 30% of our students are from an international perspective. Our curriculum is a global curriculum. That's particularly important. We're really thinking about how, as a student, as a graduate, you are going to work in a global industry. So here are some of our students talking about their experience of coming and studying with us.
Studying here in UCA helped me to explore new things and push the boundary of my creative zone.
As an interior designer, I have to make lots of small models to prove my ideas on my project. It has made me a better designer.
It's a big international community here in UCA. Everyone is friendly here.
Collaboration with different students from different countries is very helpful. Working with people from different backgrounds helped me to get out of the comfort zone and explore in the art world.
I remember 1 month ago, there's a new student who asked me, "Hey, wait, why are you so happy every day when you came to campus?" I said, "Oh, it seems like I came home." Don't be worried to study in UK. No matter you cannot speak good English or cannot really understanding, but they will try their best to help you for that.
My tutors always encourage me to try out my own ideas.
As an illustrator, it's quite important to find my style and find my visual language.
The opportunity that I have had have made me more creative.
I think they are working hard to help me to find jobs in the future.
Okay. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about my experience. I'm really passionate about study abroad and what that did for me and my creative education, how I went on my own journey to becoming a professor and then being able to talk in a room full of people like this, and I'm going to talk about that. So this is me on my Instagram profile. Instagram and social media is quite important in the art world for us in the West, because this is where we can share artwork, we can share what we do. So this is where I am. Now, I started out here. I started out in a little village, like a farmer's son. I didn't know anybody who went to university. I didn't know anybody who was an artist. I haven't come from a background of academics. I've made my journey through education. I wasn't even that good at school. Wasn't very good at exams. I wasn't very good at being a student. But what I was good at was I was good at drawing. And I was really passionate about drawing. And that's what gave me the opportunity. So I live in a village. The village looks the same as this. My family all still live there. And here I am talking to you in China. Now, what happened is I was given a book, and I was about 10 years old. This book, A Picture History of Art. And this is before the internet, before you could search anything. And the only way to find things was to read books. And if you grow up in a little village where there are not many books, every book is precious. And this book was precious to me because it had lots and lots of small images in it. And I could look through them all and I was fascinated by them. So, nearly 2,000 illustrations of the history of art. And I kind of had an idea that I wanted to become an artist, but I didn't really know what that was. I thought it might look like this because there was a photograph that looked like this. This is what art school, going to art school looked like, and I thought maybe I want to do this. But art school doesn't look like this because this was a very old photograph, so this is maybe 100 years ago. But through a series of events, I did go to art school. I met a friend and we went to Saturday art class, and then I went to a foundation, and then I went to Central St Martin's. And what happened when I was there was that I was scared, I was shy. I couldn't speak, I was afraid. Because I'd moved from the country to the city, and there were lots of people, and I found it difficult. But what happened was my teacher, who's like me now, my professor, said, well, you can go home and you can go back to the countryside, or I can help you find a scholarship to travel and be more brave. And what he did was he helped me get a scholarship to travel to New York in the early 1990s. So this is before internet, before you could research something. You just had to buy an aeroplane ticket and travel. And that changed me. That changed the way that I looked at the world. I had to meet people. I had to find out about other places. And I had to be brave. The first time on an aeroplane. The first time meeting some people from another city, another country. And I had adventures and things happened. But what happened from that is that I realised that I wanted to go and find out more about the way that art was taught all the way around the world. And that's what I did. I went and I took scholarships and I travelled, and I went to the Royal College of Art, and I went to work at lots of different universities. I took jobs wherever I could get them, little bits of teaching, and I moved through study and teaching, working at lots of different universities around the country, and eventually around the world. So I got to travel, and I did some work in Singapore, and Malaysia, and Egypt, and Morocco, and Russia. Everywhere I went, everywhere I could travel, I went to find out how they taught art, and what art learning was about. And really, what I want to talk about now is what I think art does. So, this picture is really important to me. It's a picture, it's in a book by a philosopher called Wittgenstein. And it's a picture of a rabbit, but it's also a picture of a duck. Can you see this? Yeah, so rabbit ears. It's a bit stretched on here, but there's the rabbit ears, but it's also a duck. You see? Okay. So, this is really important. It's really important because it says that the art experience, what you see, is in your... so we, as artists and designers, we make things that affect the way that people see, and think. So art happens in the mind. In your mind, this is transformed. 1 minute it's a rabbit, the next it's a duck. Your eyes see the same thing, but your mind can see it differently. And I think this is really interesting. It shows that art happens in the mind. Here's another example. So these are some taps on a bath, and they look like a face, don't they? And it's your mind is making this picture. So this is the power of art. The power of imagery. An artist or a designer can present something which then transforms the way that people think and see. And we've been doing this, artists and designers have been doing this for thousands of years. So these are portraits, images of faces that are 50,000 years old. These are the oldest images of faces that we know of today, and they're from the Kimberley Caves in Australia. But we can recognise them as faces. We have the capacity to be able to see these are eyes, and this is a nose, and this is a face. So our minds can tell us that these are faces. Artists do this all the time. We play with perception. We play with the mind of the person who's looking at the image. So this is Picasso. We know that faces aren't yellow, and we know that eyes don't look the other way. But what Picasso does is he says, well, this can be a face too. This can be an image of a face. So your mind is able to translate this and turn it into a portrait or an image of a face. Here's another one, probably a bit more complicated. This is a painting by an artist called Frank Auerbach. And he's been doing this his whole life, making these very thickly painted images. But actually, again, it's a portrait. The face is leaning over, here are the eyes, the nose, the mouth. It's quite stretched on here, but it is a portrait. He's right at the very edge of what we can see as an image of a face, but he's still there. I think this is really interesting. Here's one of mine from when I was a student. This is a sculpture that I made. And here are some other works, which are ceramic works that I made when I was a student. And more ceramic works that I made as a student about love and romance and art, actually. They're about art history. They're about stories and myths in art history, made contemporary, made new. And here are some of my portraits, a bit later, maybe 10 years later than the earlier work. And I'm making portraits of people. They're people I meet either in person or through social media, and then I make a portrait of them. They tell me a story, and I make a portrait of them in a story. And as I work on the portrait changes as they tell the story, and I hide things and I show things. And the portrait, it remains a portrait, but it doesn't necessarily look like them. But they know it is them. Sometimes they're very concealed. The portrait on the right, for instance. Okay. So, beginning to think about trust and how we trust an image. So, in this baby is learning from its parent. This is how we all learn. We all begin by copying, learning. So the child copies the parent. The child copies the parent that it trusts. Okay? So psychological and scientific research has found that babies copy the person they trust. They don't copy the people that they do not trust. They only copy who they trust. This is quite important in copying and learning. We copy who we trust. So the child copies the adult drawing. It does it to please, it does it to make it feel good, it's copying. And when we go to school, we trust the master, and we learn by copying, often. And artists have always, and designers have always learned by copying. We copy faces. So this is from 754. This is a monk, an illustration of a monk copying. And this illustration shows how the learning process happens. This is a student monk copying an older image. And this is still part of the way that we might learn today. So this is a very traditional way of learning. We copy old masters to learn how they did it. And as a student, as an art student, it's quite common. You may copy a piece of anime to find out how that's done. But hopefully, as an art student, what happens is that you begin to do something more complicated than copying. You start to do this. This is synthesis. It's where we take multiple images of some revolutionary painting. In the history of painting and the subject of painting, it's very, very important. Pablo Picasso, in 1957, so fascinated by this, makes his own version. So he makes his own version in his own style. This is the most famous painting in the world, the Mona Lisa. And an artist called Marcel Duchamp, who's probably the most famous modern artist, who transformed the way that we think about art. He just transformed it, he copied it in a way. He used a reproduction of postcard, and he drew on the postcard and transformed it. So artists continually work to transform things. So this is all important because, for instance, this is an artist called Gavin Turk on the right-hand side from 1990, and he's made a version of himself as a self-portrait wearing this outfit. This is a wax sculpture. Now, where it comes from is a print by Andy Warhol from the 1960s, which is a screen print from an Elvis Presley movie poster. This is a pop star from the 1970s called Sid Vicious, who is wearing kind of the same outfit in the same pose for a video. And Gavin Turk is pulling all that together to make this. So he's synthesizing all of this source to make this artwork. And actually, Gavin Turk's artwork is about the synthesis of culture. Here's another example. Peter Blake. So Peter Blake, this is an album cover for a Beatles album from the 1960s. And it's got lots of people in the background. These are all Hollywood stars and of the time. Some music people like Bob Dylan and people like that. And these are the Beatles. Okay. Quite an important album, but you probably know it from The Simpsons. This is a Simpsons version from the 1990s. Now, this is Core's version. Core's is an artist, and he's made his own version. So we've got the Beatles, Simpsons, Core's, all copied. Okay. Now, the Core's version is really important because it's sold at Sotheby's. Is it for all your business students? This is what it's sold for. Okay. Really, really big, expensive piece of artwork. Somebody really wanted that. So this is an album that you probably paid $10 for. A piece of TV history. And an artwork that sells for this amount of money. It's by this artist. And maybe you see some of these sculptures around. These are very well known. Maybe you see them in the market. So these are by Core's. These are fake. All these are fake. These are real. These are real. These are fake. And Core's brought a copyright counterfeit case against people that made fake versions of his work. So he copies things, but he also brings counterfeit cases against other people in retail. So copyright infringement. So artists copy, but we have this thing about copyright. This is a very famous case, which is Art Rogers. This is a postcard, sells for $1. This is Jeff Koons, String of Puppies. Jeff Koons' artwork sells for millions. Art Rogers said, "You've stolen my art, my art, and I want you to pay me for using it." And he won. So this is a copyright infringement. Jeff Koons has to pay Art Rogers money for this because he took the image without permission. Again, Jeff Koons, this is Garfield's Odie. He took this image without permission and used it, so now Jeff Koons has to pay the makers of Odie money for the use of it. This is copyright. Look familiar? This is Jeff Koons again. And the reason why Jeff Koons has to pay is because his artwork is worth a lot of money. People pay a lot of money for it. This particular sculpture is worth 58 million. It's a lot of money. There are a lot of these cases. So this might be familiar to you. This is the Hope poster from the Obama campaign. But Shepard Fairey used this photograph that was commissioned by the Associated Press to make that image without permission and had to pay. Andy Warhol, in 1984, made a whole series of artworks that used Lynn Goldsmith's Prince photograph. Andy Warhol died, but the Warhol Foundation makes money from those prints. So the Warhol Foundation has to pay Lynn Goldsmith money for the use of those images. Disney's famous for its trademark. You know the ears of Mickey Mouse? These are a trademark. It's protected. You can't use the ear shape without getting approval from Disney because it's a trademark. So Disney said to Deadman, who is a DJ performer, you can't use that. You can't use those ears. They settled, they agreed, but Disney's very famous for protecting its copyright. So every time you see a piece of Disney artwork anywhere or in retail, it might be a copyright infringement. This is really common. Artists have always copied and used other artworks as influence. And there are websites dedicated to this, showing where one artist makes artwork similar to another, or even uses it directly. So why is all this important? Well, it's kind of important when we think about artificial intelligence and things like Midjourney. So who knows what Midjourney is? Anybody? Put your hand up if you know what Midjourney is. A few people in here. Okay. So Midjourney is a piece of an application where you can get an artificial intelligence to make creative artwork for you. What you do is you enter words called a prompt. West Highland Terrier puppy on Mount Everest. Photorealistic image. And Midjourney will make it. I didn't draw it. I didn't use a creative application. All I did was ask the computer software to make the image for me. Okay, that one first. Well, you can also get it to make it into a sticker set, an illustration, by saying die-cut sticker featuring West Highland Terrier puppy. Make it as a vector art. And you can get it to make it in a variety of styles. Okay, so in the style of a comic book, anime cartoon, or Soviet cartoon, and it'll make it for you. You can get it to make you an image, a brand new piece of artwork, from a combination of an illustration and a photograph. So I didn't make this. This is made by the software for me. No making at all. So who is this? Anybody know who this is? Gandalf. Who's? Yeah. Everybody? No. Gandalf's the grey. Actually, it's not Gandalf. This is Gandalf. Okay, this is Gandalf still from the film, Lord of the Rings. This is made by Midjourney. This is made by the AI application. If you look closely, it's not Gandalf. It doesn't look like Gandalf. It looks almost like him, but it's not him. It's made a version of him. But you trusted that it was him. Like the baby, you trusted it. Is this The Simpsons? Actually, no, it's Midjourney. Midjourney made this. So it made it from a prompt that was a popular 1990s animated cartoon with yellow skin. And it made this. Now, how does this happen? Okay. So this artwork on the left-hand side is by an artist called Sam Young. And he makes lots of artwork and posts them on the internet. And Sam Young started to notice that people were making artwork in Midjourney like this. And he started to look at those, and he realised that Midjourney was using his artwork as source. Shape of the chin, shape of the ear, shape of the eyes. The same, they're the same. So the Midjourney application is making artwork that is directly referencing Sam Young. Hasn't asked permission. No permission has been given. Greg Rutowski. So for you at the back, this is a picture of a dragon. Maybe hard to see from all the way back there, but this is a dragon. And on the right hand side, here's the dragon again. Painting, digital painting, Midjourney. So Midjourney is using Greg Rutowski's artwork. This is very, very similar. So Greg Rutowski is saying, Midjourney, you are using my artwork without my permission. So recently, artists started to spot that Midjourney and AI technology was using databases, using content in a database. And this is really important in thinking about artificial intelligence because when we're working with AI software of any kind, including ChatGPT and text-based content and anything that you will be working with in the future with AI, where's it coming from? And where's that content coming from? In this case, it's coming from something called Leon 5B. Now, Leon 5B is a database system with almost 6 billion images in it. Okay. 6 billion images. Think about that. They've all been collected. This is a database, and they've all been labelled with information. And when you do your text prompt, what it's doing is it's getting all those images and then it's making it a new image from those. It's synthesizing them. So if you say, I want a French cat, it's going to use this to make your French cat. So when I'm making artwork, this is how I'm making my artwork. I'm using photographs, I'm using references from books, and I'm using my experience. So my experience of my fears, my feelings, my love, my relationships, my reading of books, all the things that I care about, they're all become part of me. And then when I make the artwork, all of that is synthesized into making my artwork. But when I'm working with artificial intelligence, this is what's happening. So this is a database of buffaloes, and I've asked it to make me a buffalo. This is the AI. So this diagram will show you how that works. So it makes me an image using the database. And it can do that for all kinds of art. So this is for Salvador Dali, an artist there. This is his original artwork. And this is the one made by the AI application. Now the AI can do it for almost any style because it's been trained to do that. So you can say a prompt, I want a woman in a blue dress sat at a desk doing a drawing. In the style of any one of these artists. So in the style of Pixar, in the style of Robert Crumb, in the style of Salvador Dali, in the style of Paul Cézanne, Vermeer. So these are not artworks, these are art things made by Midjourney, taking from art history and using text prompts and building these new artworks. Here's a Van Gogh. Let's go back to our baby. So we trust. We copy and we trust. But more recently, what scientists and psychologists have been doing is studying AI-generated faces. So in these AI-generated faces, what they found is that the people that are looking at AI-generated faces tend to trust them more than real people. So these are AI-generated faces, and this research says that if they're indistinguishable from real people, we tend to trust the AI ones more than we trust real people. So that we've got a trust issue in AI. This is important because we start to look at these images that are being made by technology, and we have to ask, what are we looking at? Is this a photograph of somebody that I might have met, a loved one or something? It's not, it's a picture made by Midjourney. Is this a picture of an experience that I had? Was somebody actually there? Did that thing happen? Did this experience happen? No, it didn't. This is made by AI. Did this rock concert happen? Did this person play this instrument? It didn't. This is made by AI. This never happened. This photograph, did I travel and meet this person and take this photograph? No, I didn't. It was made by Midjourney. And it's made from what's called the prompt. So this prompt says, a portrait of a smiling and happy female person with Ghanaian origin wearing a traditional clothing. From the front view, the age of 100 years in traditional African home, ultra detailed, ultra photorealistic, 8K, an award-winning photograph. That's the prompt that made that image. And it made it because there's a database of images behind that is being retrieved by that prompt to make that image. Is this a photograph of a child, my child? Is this a romantic memory, an important memory that's been photographed in black and white? No, it isn't. It's a portrait of a female surfer with a surfboard on the beach, and it's been photographed. It's been specified to have been made with a 35mm lens with an f-stop of 1.8 and printed onto Ilford film stock. So at 16:9, it's been really, really specified. Again, made by by artificial intelligence technology, retrieving images from databases and then making an approximation of an image that it thinks that I want to see. Making a version of a scene. It looks real. A sunset over a jetty. Not real. A travel experience of going to the Eiffel Tower in France. That's not real. It's made by Midjourney, and it's I've can specify the angle at which I want it to be seen. From below, looking up. We can create images of food that we may never have eaten, that we imagined. Or scenes from films that weren't actually in that film. So this is imagining Bruce Lee in a particular film, but this doesn't exist on film anywhere. This is just made by the Mid-Journey. So why all this? Well, this piece of artwork is a book, it's a graphic novel. And the artist wrote the graphic novel and then made all the imagery for the graphic novel in Mid-Journey. And in February 2023, applied for copyright in America. And the copyright was denied for the images. So the United States Supreme Court ruled that the artist could not be the creator of the visuals because she is not the master of the creative process, the master of the technology. So in February last year, 2023, the American Supreme Court said that the artist using the AI technology, putting in the prompt and asking it to make the images, was not the master of the technology, but the technology had all the creativity and control, not the artist using it. In August of 2023, a different case came to a Berlin court, and Beijing court. And this image and this image were created using Mid-Journey technology. And then this image and this image were created from the first one. So this one was made from this one, and the one on the end was made from that one. So this is the first. Now, this artist claimed copyright over this work and won. And the Beijing court ruled that the creator of this avatar image that uses Mid-Journey to make this had the copyright because they were the creator of the image. And it's because the AI technology is not a human and therefore cannot be the author or hold copyright. So essentially what that means is that the Beijing court respected that the person making the work with the technology was a creator and they had mastery and control over the technology. Even though it's a very digital created image, very AI, but they are still the creator. There's a big change. Later on in the same year, 2023, this artist, Boris Elgerson, he submitted a photograph for a Sony World Photography competition. And he won. This is a winning photograph. Except it wasn't a photograph, it was made with AI. And when he won the award, he then said, I do not want the award because this isn't a photograph. It's made with AI, and that feels wrong to me. I did it to show that photography and AI were very close together, and he felt uncomfortable about that. So this is the world that you go into. The world that you will be a designer or an artist or a business person or a lawyer doing copyright. This is the world you go into. Adobe Sensei, which is an AI, which is where AI technology is being integrated into the Adobe Suite. Sora is video from text. So text prompts can be used to make film, not just still image. Perhaps you might be already doing this, writing your essay with ChatGPT. And ChatGPT and written technology, same thing, comes from a database of content. And there are cases around where ChatGPT is used, where it gets its information from. Sometimes it's right, sometimes it's wrong, but increasingly people are starting to notice where it comes from. But interestingly, ChatGPT is also being integrated into Microsoft. So Microsoft funded, supported the development of OpenAI, and now Microsoft 365 Copilot will have ChatGPT technology embedded in it. So your Microsoft Office application will have ChatGPT. Within a year, 2 years, it will be completely embedded within it. This is synesthesia. This is an avatar-making piece of software. And it can make a real-looking version of you for video. You can upload images of yourself and it will make a version of you. And you can input text into it and it will translate it and it will look like you're talking in another language. It's one of the most popular bit of technologies in that kind of AI sphere right now. Midjourney fantasy art prompts. You can buy prompts now to make content. And you can buy them for photographs, you can buy them for, you can download them for fantasy artwork, you can download them for design, you can download them for graphic design, you can download them for business, you can download them for websites, you can download them for coding, you can get technology to make coding for you. So what's happening is this, our world of employment, our world of jobs is changing. So this is probably a new type of job. Artificial Intelligent Prompt Engineer internship. So as a creative, all of this is changing our world. And so we have to think about what it is to be an artist or a designer. I'm from that area, so I think about that. What does it mean to be an artist or a designer in that world? A world where we will be interacting with technology and asking questions. Use the Leon 5B database. He's made his own database. He made 500 paintings, taught the software how to use his paintings to make new paintings. So he made his own. So he's both the database, the technology, and the artist. He's everything in that. And then this artwork is So-Wan Shum, and she's doing some really interesting work where she's interacting with robots and AI technology in a very collaborative way. So for me, this is really interesting. And the idea of what AI is as a tool for creative people is really interesting. So she's using a brush, she moves the brush, and the technology learns with her and they collaborate together to make a painting. Now, this gets me thinking about what it is to be an artist in this age and using the tools, and about the legal case of the artist that made the avatar and was declared the creator. Is that when I'm using a brush or a pencil, I'm using it as a tool. I make something, and I'm collaborating with that tool. So I hold the brush, I make the painting, and I'm collaborating with the tool. Without the brush, I wouldn't be able to make the painting. So there's a relationship between me and the brush in making it. I can't do it without. And that's the same as working with AI. But that technology exists for us to collaborate with and work with. Not to be mastered by, but for us to work with it and learn how to use it and adapt and find new ways of working with it, like this artist. So for me, I think AI is very powerful. It will change our world. It will change our creative world. There's a lot that we can ask questions of about trust and integrity and copying and copyright and who owns what parts of the technology. But in essence, as designers and artists, this technology exists. And you, as artists and designers, are going to be faced with the challenge of thinking about how you're going to use that, working with it. It's not going away. You're going to work with it. So I think deciding how you feel and think about that is really important. So I would say, if you come into art, you need to ask this question: how will you create with AI? Now, I believe as a creative, you bring yourself to the work. And the AI isn't a human. It's like the Beijing court says, it's not a human. It hasn't fallen in love. It hasn't travelled. It hasn't smelt the air. It hasn't eaten the food. It hasn't had those experiences. You have those experiences. So you bring those experiences to the AI. To every tool you use, whether it's a brush or the AI, you, as creators, you always bring those experiences to it. So if you go and study abroad and study in England or America or whatever, you have an experience and you'll bring that experience to whatever you work with. And that's really what's going to happen, is that the human value, the human experience value, is really what you bring to any tool that you use, be that a pencil, a brush, a digital technology, a camera, or even an artificial intelligence. Okay, thank you.